Shalom, and this year is entitled Biography Part 2 of our Kahane HY, 1960 to 1973. So in the 60s, he already started writing for the Jewish press. He did that for 30 years, and he's getting a lot of mail and hearing a lot of complaints. Jews cannot live proper lives. They were abandoned in many communities. The elderly, poor Jews were stuck in Dorchester, Boston, places in Brooklyn. And he reached out when he hears about this to all the Jewish organizations. Oh, yeah, we know, we're working on it. He goes, no, they're not. Oh, my gosh. Going back a few years to the Jews ignoring what was going on in Europe, they're ignoring what's going on in America now. This is crazy. And he's developing his thoughts and seeing the total of absence of care. So 1968, starts the J.D.L, Jewish Defense League, originally called the Jewish Defense Corps, so that's too militant, Jewish Defense League. 1969, that first major event, James Foreman, a black activist, was going around and saying, we have been abused for centuries in America. We want compensation. He was going to churches asking for hundreds of millions of dollars. Now his next place was Temple Emmanuel, Reformed Temple, and he was heading that way. And Rameh kind of said, oh no, it's going to go ahead. They're going to start trampling on the Jewish people. This is going to be just the beginning. And he lined up on Temple Emmanuel and told James Foreman, you show up on that Friday night service, you're going to have to deal with this. And there's a famous showdown, which never happened. He didn't show up. All of a sudden, people in America, the news are talking about these nice Jewish boys, not acting like very nice Jewish boys, created a new image of the Jew, who could be tough, who could fight, who could defend himself. And then they started, J.D.L was growing, and they started helping out all the Jews in the poor areas, anti-Semitism in the different schools. And then, early 70s, 71, focusing on the Soviet Union. 3 million Jews stuck there, being destroyed spiritually. They cannot leave. He said this is unacceptable. And he held it was a Mohammed mitzvah, and he could do a lot of things. He could attack the Soviet mission, the Soviet airlines, and just do whatever you need to do, which is, of course, a whole debatable point. On the other hand, no one else was doing anything, and these people were dying, spiritually dying. Sakanas nefashos. And he started moving things along. To finish off part 2 in our biography here, here's statistics. For decades early, only a few hundred had been released in all the decades earlier. Once the JD began its activities, 1971, 15,000 Jews left. 1972, 34,000 left. 1973, 37,000 Jews left, almost 100,000 Jews. So he realized this is the way to go. Unfortunately, just being a nice Jew doesn't work. We have to go ahead and be a militant to get what we need to protect our fellow brothers. Shalom.